Hi, welcome to the Dynamic Duel podcast, where we debate the superiority between Marvel and DC by comparing their characters and crossover battle simulations and by reviewing their films. I'm Marvelous Joe.
And I'm his twin brother, Johnny DC.
And this episode is our Halloween episode.
Yeah.
It'll be the last episode that we do before the Halloween holiday. So to that end, we decided that this Duel episode should feature kind of spooky characters.
Yeah, I remember, so we've this is only our second year doing this, but we're trying to establish a trend where every Halloween, during the Halloween episode, we pit two supervillains against each other, which is something we don't really typically do throughout the rest of the year. So this is our opportunity to do that.
Last year we pit the Joker against Green Goblin,
which is a great matchup.
Yeah, that was a great Halloween matchup. Yeah,
but we also received around that time on Twitter a suggestion from one of our Twitter followers. His name is Matt Morgan, and he recommended we do a battle with Scarecrow, which I thought was great. It's so Halloween. And I came up with the idea to pit him against Mysterio. So we've essentially been waiting a year to do this episode.
Yeah. Deciding to pit him against Mysterio will be your downfall, my friend, because Mysterio is going to kick Scarecrow's ass.
Not going to happen.
You say that now, but later on you're going to be crying. So that it will be the main event of this episode.
Right.
Before we get into the main event, though, we usually go through the latest Marvel and DC movie and TV related news. And so this episode we'll be talking about the Black Panther official trailer, the New Mutants official trailer. There was some Gambit news. The movie finally got another new release date. We're going to talk a little bit about the controversy regarding the rumor that X-Men Dark Phoenix is going to include the Skrulls.
Which is some bullshit.
Some bullshit. There was another trailer for the Punisher Netflix series, and we got an official date for that as well.
Which is also some bullshit.
There was the last main character casting for the live-action Titans series, and I don't know what you wrote down in this last note here, but something about Dr. 13, Traci 13. You're going to have to tell me what that's all about.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what any of that means. So, yeah, that's what we'll be going into news-wise before the main event later on this episode.
If this is your first time listening to us, which it may be, we actually have a ton of new listeners thanks to our podcast being featured on Podbean recently.
Yeah.
And I think it's still featured. Well, as of today it is, which is really cool. And just seeing what episodes people are listening to specifically, it's a lot of people are going back to our very first episode, and it kills me because that is our worst episode. I hate it. I hate listening to it.
Those first few were a little rough.
Yeah, we were just learning, So I definitely encourage you, if you're a new listener, check out some of our newer stuff. Some of the older stuff is kind of a little bit more embarrassing.
I think we could hit our stride by the fourth or fifth episode, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the Etrigan versus Ghost Rider fight, personally.
Okay.
But I remember just in the first episode, I was listening to it recently, and there was just this cringe-worthy moment where we're talking about the similarity between our voices and how it may be difficult to distinguish between the two of us. And you were like, oh yeah, the cool one, that's Joe, and the one who sounds kind of dorky, that's Johnny DC. And I was just so shocked by it. I don't know why.
You were shocked by the insult?
Did he just insult me over the air? Did he just embarrass me? I don't know. By the time I was so busy just thinking about it. You had already moved on, but I finally have a comeback.
Okay.
So go ahead and say what you said last time.
Oh, I said, so the cool, suave-sounding one, that's me, Marvelous Joe, and the dorky-sounding one, that's the DC guy.
Yeah, the one who sounds like a fucking dick is the Marvel guy.
That's your comeback?
I don't know.
You had a year and a half to come up with that.
Fuck you, clown.
All right. Well, at least you finally... had a comeback.
That's what I've always wanted to say. As I'm listening to it, I was like, I should have said that.
The one that sounds like an asshole, that's the Marvel guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Anyway, moving on from that, let's get into our trivia segment. Every episode we ask a trivia question relating to both Marvel and DC, and whoever gets the answer right by answering on our social media platforms wins a no prize.
Yeah.
A special dynamic duel no prize that we draw for you.
The no prize, if you're not familiar with it, it used to be something that Marvel used to give out for people who would find typos in their comics or continuity errors. Yeah. So we're bringing that back.
So the last episode's question was, what was the first licensed song from a studio album to be used in an MCU trailer or teaser? Same question for DC. and we stipulated that it had to be from a studio album and it couldn't be another film score that was used in a trailer.
Right.
So the correct answer was what was the answer? Oh yeah, for Iron Man, the first Iron Man teaser, the first song in that teaser was "Hell Above Water" from the band Curve. And for
it's a pretty recognizable song.
Yeah, that was the one that went. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. They also, in that trailer, in that first Iron Man trailer, they also played Hey Man, Nice Shot by Filter and also Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
But we were looking for the Hell Above Water song. For the DC Films universe, the first studio album song that was on there was for the Man of Steel trailer, and it was called Elegy by Lisa Gerrard and Patrick Cassidy. That was more of an instrumental type thing.
Yeah, it's more of like a Celtic kind of thing.
Song?
Song.
We forgot the words for song for a second there.
No.
So I want to say congrats to nobody because nobody got it right. I think it was maybe too hard of a question.
It was a hard question. It was a really hard question.
You had to go to, what's that site that we looked this up on? Soundtrack,
like
film soundtrack.
soundtrack.net or something. I forget.
I mean, it was easy to find if you knew where to go, but if you didn't know where to go, it was almost impossible.
But I thought it was kind of interesting because like my musical tastes are not like what other people my age have. Like I like classical music. I listen to like epic-core on Spotify and stuff like that. And I like film scores and just, and you like normal music. So I thought it was kind of fitting that the DC guy had this like kind of like nice sounding kind of Celtic kind of score kind of sounding music, and you had the
rock song.
Yeah.
It seems fitting. I think it kind of fits both universes. So, again, congrats to no one. No one got it right. What happened? You guys dropped the ball. Don't do it this time. Because this episode's question is a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's regarding the Comics Code Authority. If you don't know what that is, the Comics Code Authority was established in 1954 to regulate comic book content after the public became concerned over gory, horrific, and outright spooky material that a lot of the horror comics like Tales from the Crypt were publishing back in the day. So, in what year did Marvel abandon the Comics Code, and in what year did DC abandon it? Yep. So submit your answer to our Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. You can find us on those platforms by doing a search for Dynamic Duel Podcast. You can also email us the answer at dynamicduelpodcast@gmail.com. And again, if you get it right, you'll be listed on the no prize for that episode.
Go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe to our podcast. It's a bi-weekly one if you're new.
Yeah, and bi-weekly we mean every other week, not twice a week.
Yeah, that would be semi-weekly.
Yeah, it's like a fortnightly podcast. Just remember that. If you guys like what you hear as well, be sure to leave us a review. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think that does it for the trivia. We will be giving a hint for this question later on in this episode, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the news.
Deep dive. Here we go. Starting off, there's 3 Marvel trailers. There was like no DC news.
Yeah, well, it's like the opposite of what our last episode was, where it was almost all DC news and no Marvel news.
Yeah, I prefer it that way. I liked that. I was sad. I was sad leading up to this. I was like, oh, where's the DC news?
Yeah, I was spoiled in terms of how much content there was for me to look at.
Yeah.
3 trailers. I don't think that's happened in the duration of this podcast.
I don't think so.
So, yeah, Punisher, New Mutants, and Black Panther, which we're going to talk about right now. So, the Black Panther preview starts off with voiceover by Martin Freeman's character.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Ross? Everett K. Ross.
Everett K.
I don't know why I said Elliot. And he's talking about just the other heroes in the Marvel Universe, and he asks T'Challa, what have you guys been hiding? And I really like the grin that Chadwick Boseman gives.
Well, it's an interesting setup because he's saying, like, oh, I've seen, gods fall from the sky. I've seen aliens. I've seen, what else did he say? I forget. But essentially he's saying, everything we've seen in previous movies. And, he's kind of promising in this setup that, oh, we're going to show you something new, which I was kind of skeptical about. I was like, oh, really? Okay, this is just going to be more Marvel hullabaloo.
How dare you?
But I was actually really surprised with how much I liked this trailer. There's so much to unpack from this trailer, and a lot of it is really, really cool.
It is a dense trailer.
Really dense.
I had to watch it like 3 times in slow motion just to feel like I got everything out of it.
And there were so many moments where I was like, what?
There are some cool shots.
Really cool shots. Yeah.
Yeah, Coogler is a fantastic director. There was this interesting shot in particular during this whole beginning setup in the first few seconds where we see M'Baku, who's Manape, who's the head of the mountain tribe of Wakanda, and he's sitting on his throne, and they're so high up, it looks like they're like in the clouds, and it's dark, and there's like a lot of like hanging, it almost looks like aspen
Sticks?
Yeah, sticks kind of thing. It's just very symmetrical. It's a really cool shot.
Yeah.
It was hard to tell what you were looking at. I had to pause it for sure.
I don't know if it's Coogler or who. I don't know who the production designer was on this, but this film looks like
It's an interesting aesthetic.
like the budget was insane. There's so much detail and so much to look at.
Yeah, and we visit different sections of Wakanda during the course of this trailer, and each one has such a unique, distinct feel.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool the way but it's all equally cool. I like it, appreciate it. There was this one part though where there are these planes, Wakandan planes coming to land on a landing pad, and there's this Panther hangar for ships to come out of. And it's like this Panther statue out of the side of a mountain, and on top of the mountain there's like on top of the cliff there's like this structure that reminded me very much of the palace of Asgard.
Yeah.
I thought the design was a little bit too similar to that because right away I thought, oh, that looks like Asgard. So I wish they wouldn't have gone with that kind of like triangle shape. Mm-hmm. But that's the only qualm I have in terms of the set design. I think everything else is just fantastic. It was really cool as they were flying those planes in. There's a shot a few seconds later where they're flying through this tech hologram.
Yeah, it's very like Paradise Island, kind of like a magical kind of barrier, but this is tech.
A tech barrier,
I guess.
Yeah, it looks like they're about to fly into some trees, but instead of flying into the trees, they fly through the hologram, and I guess like the main city of Wakanda is like maybe in a big crater or something.
Yeah.
Because the ground all of a sudden is like way below the plane.
I forget the name of the character I forget the name of the actress too, Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Okoye? Yeah, she plays Okoye in this film.
When she's piloting this ship, I noticed that like her hands are just kind of like
hovering
right there. I'm pretty sure they're gonna add like some kind of like energy orbs or some kind of like energy like controls. That was just kind of awkward, just seeing her like holding her hands there. Though
she's flying it via Xbox Connect kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has to make sure that she doesn't have a scratch or an itch or anything. I thought that was interesting. It looked like I would agree with that maybe there's some incomplete effects right there. And
yeah, for sure.
She's not just gonna be like, getting her arms tired out in front of her.
Right.
So yeah, that was cool. I really like the look of the inner city of Wakanda. Mm-hmm. Like it looks a little bit more worn down. It's not quite as futuristic, but still, while kind of being futuristic, you see like this cool futuristic monorail in the background and everything like that. I really like the aesthetic of not just like the cool futuristic stuff, but also the more impoverished looking areas of Wakanda.
Yeah,
those look pretty cool too. I like the style. The music in the trailer. Let's talk about the music real quick. I thought it was pretty good.
The music was really well edited to the trailer.
Yeah, I like the show me my respect.
Badass.
I
don't know what song it is.
I don't know either of the songs. I know the Revolution Will Not Be Televised. That's like an older song from the 70s. I can't remember off the top of my head who sings it, but it looks like it's mashed up with a newer hip hop song earlier on in the trailer. I don't recognize any of the songs. I do like the song from the previous trailer more, by Run the Jewels, just because I was familiar with that song. Mm-hmm. But
I wasn't familiar with either song, and I thought I like both of them. So far, both of them have matched up really well, and they set up a really good tone for this.
It's just cool.
What we're seeing.
It's just cool.
It's really cool.
It's just cool. It has such the cool factor of this movie is going to be off the charts.
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally.
Like when we see Shuri for the first time, who is T'Challa's sister, and it looks like she's like
not for the first time. She was in the previous trailer.
Yeah, I mean, well, for the first time in this trailer is what I was talking about.
Sorry, yeah.
They have like this special like bro and sis high five kind of thing, and she's like the Tony Stark of Wakanda. She designs a lot of the tech that the Black Panther uses.
Yeah, it looks like she's introducing him to like his new suit.
Yeah, it's definitely his new suit. When they're in her lab, we see the Black Panther suit that was used in the Civil War film on the right, and we see his new suit on the left, and it's a little bit cleaner. The necklace type device, the ornate metallic embellishment on his costume is not quite as ornate as the other one. The face looks a little bit more cat-like, and it's a little bit sleeker. I like both designs for different reasons.
Yeah. I mean, later on we see that this new costume like segments and like has purple kind of
energy.
To it. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that part of it. I don't remember ever seeing something like that in the comics.
It does happen in the comics, but only recently, like within the past 2 years. But here, I don't know if it's like a hologram, if it's like cloaking technology, and he's like always wearing the suit. I do notice that when both he and Killmonger put on their Black Panther suits, they like shreds their clothes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I almost wonder if it's more like nanotechnology type stuff.
Is it like nano vibranium technology?
Something
I don't know,
like that.
I never knew that Black Panther put on his suit that way, because I know his suit was like a vibranium weave, right?
Yes.
But I always thought it was, I didn't think it was that high tech.
It certainly looks the most high tech that I've ever seen it in this film. It looks more high tech than the Iron Man outfit, to be honest. And Wakanda itself almost looks like if Tony Stark were in charge of a nation, this is what it would look like.
Yeah, if Tony Stark saw this, he'd be like, "What the fuck?
I'm so far behind."
Right?
Which is interesting. Like, even Iron Man's his suit is not to the point yet where he can put it on through like nanotechnology. That's like the bleeding edge armor from the comics and everything.
Right.
And he's not quite to that point yet. And I don't know if he will get to it. I mean, there's a lot more going on with the Iron Man armor. There's a lot more bells and whistles and things that I don't think could be reasonably put on through nanotechnology. So maybe that's the only reason why they haven't introduced that concept in Iron Man, because the Iron Man films are a little bit more grounded, especially the first one. So maybe with, the lack of bells and missiles and things like
bells
that.
And missiles?
Yeah. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You didn't do that intentionally.
In the Black Panther suit, maybe they can afford him to put it on easier, like through this nanotechnology or holograms or whatever.
Yeah, because it's more sleek.
Yeah. There's a really cool shot. Probably my favorite shot of the trailer is when he's being dropped out of the plane. Yeah. When Okoye tells him, don't freeze, and T'Challa says, "I never freeze." And I think just like the combination of the music and just the badassery of like just falling out of a plane without like any type of parachute or anything like that. And like throwing these cool ass devices, like just the way it was shot, like the camera work there, made me want to squeal like a 5-year-old on Christmas.
Yeah, the camera movement was really cool.
He's such a badass.
That's more of like, I mean, like we've seen people drop out of a plane before, without a parachute. We saw that in the Avengers, with Captain America.
That was in Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But not with like just like standing there like a badass and just like
not onto the ground. We know that his vibranium suit will absorb the impact and he'll land safely and everything. When Steve Rogers jumped out of the plane without a chute, he jumped into water. So.
Yeah.
This was way cool. I really I don't know what those devices he threw are. I don't know if they're like trackers or bombs, but they were thrown perfectly just to land on those trucks. So I know when we discussed the last trailer, I said that when the Black Panther is attacking those guys who are coming into the jungle, I said I think that was actually T'Chaka, his father.
Are you second guessing that?
I'm second guessing that now because it looks like these are the same vehicles that they used in the first trailer.
And that makes me wonder, because I heard a rumor recently, and I don't think it was a rumor. No, it was, I don't know if it's continuity. I guess I should say that. I guess one of the tie-in comics, because apparently Marvel's already doing that, publishing tie-in comics for this movie. T'Challa was Black Panther even before Civil War, which makes me wonder, was T'Chaka ever the Black Panther? And don't you have to be the king to be Black Panther?
Traditionally, from the comics, the king is the Black Panther. You don't get to be the Black Panther unless you're the king. But the rumor actually, or not the rumor, the prequel comics for the movie actually stated that he has been Black Panther since around the time Iron Man announced himself as Iron Man.
Which is, I don't know if I like that.
Why?
I don't understand it.
Well, so we know, so basically it implies that he's Black Panther without being the king.
Right.
But from the looks of T'Chaka, his father from the Civil War movie, he was
in no shape to be Black Panther.
He didn't look to be in any shape to be Black Panther. Yes, you're correct. So it's more likely that in this continuity, the Black Panther is not necessarily the king, but maybe just the best warrior, the protector. I don't know. I don't know how to. They'll probably explain it. I don't have the answer offhand though.
Or it makes me wonder if like maybe T'Chaka just abused his power and was like, oh, my son's gonna be king. Maybe that's what Killmonger is upset about. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. It looks like they still have that same right that was introduced in the Black Panther comics in that series that started in about, I want to say 2005 or 2004, where once a year they have a competition where all the warriors in Wakanda can fight the Black Panther, and if they win, they get to become the new Black Panther. It was never really clear to me from reading that series whether or not they also got to be the king. But they did get to become the Black Panther if they won. So maybe it's that kind of thing. Like I said, maybe it's more of a warrior thing and less of a kingly mantle.
I did get like that political vibe from this trailer. It looks like Michael B. Jordan is going to be a really interesting villain. Him and Claw. Honestly, I think this movie is going to have like the most interesting Marvel villains to date, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. Just from the trailer, it looks like they have interesting motivations and they're just interesting characters.
Well, he's jealous. He always wanted the mantle of the Black Panther. He always thought he was the strongest warrior, but his family was exiled for working with Claw back in the day. So, yeah, that's why Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, has the American accent in this. And it looks like he's, like his father did, he's teaming up with Claw to try to take down the Wakandan Empire. I really like this, like the scarification type thing that
was weird.
That Killmonger
His skin is like bubble wrap.
Yeah, kind of. It's pretty hardcore. It's an interesting look. They're adapting like a lot of different African influences into their characters. Like I know in the previous trailer we saw the guy that had the big disc in his lip.
Yeah.
And everything. So that's pretty cool to see.
I don't remember seeing those scars in the last trailer, like when he is like fighting the Delora Melange or whatever, and Melange, and he like brandishes those daggers. I mean, of course, now in the trailer we see him that same scene, but he's actually like suiting up. Maybe that's why we didn't see the scars. But it did surprise me when I saw those. I was like, "Whoa!"
Do you think that are you insinuating that the scars are CG?
Oh, I'm sure they are. Oh,
I figured they were prosthetic
makeup.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would take a long time to apply, though. Yeah, I don't know. There's a cool shot in this trailer where he's like in this magical realm. T'Challa is in this magical realm.
That's a really cool
with like
scene.
A blue and purple sky.
He's wearing all white. It's very like reminding me like the Lion King. I just want to go, nah, it's a zing, yeah, marami, baraboo.
Well, he's walking up to this tree. The African trees that grow real horizontal. It's really cool looking. There's a whole pack of panthers sitting in them with like glowing eyes.
Yeah,
and it looks like he's about to converse with them because the Black Panther does have the ability to commune with the Black Panthers that have come before him, his ancestors.
I assumed this was like a hallucination brought about by the heart-shaped herb or some kind of like trial. I don't know.
It might be a hallucination. In the comics, Black Panther goes into the necropolis, which is the city of the dead in Wakanda, and that's how he's able to commune with his father and the previous Black Panthers before that. I don't know if they're going to have the necropolis in this movie, or maybe this is the necropolis and it's not a hallucination. Maybe it's just like a special magical land area. Maybe this is like where the vibranium mound is. I don't know.
Who knows?
Nobody knows. But it's a cool shot regardless. It looks magical. I really like the colors.
The colors in the Marvel movies ever since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 have all been really good.
Yeah. So after that shot, we see Killmonger suit up in his Black Panther suit, which I had heard rumors of, but I wasn't sure they were going to go down that route. I know that one of your criticisms of most Marvel films is that, at least in the introductory film for each character, that the bad guy is just the dark mirror image of the good guy.
Yeah.
And that looks to be the case definitely in this. I don't remember Killmonger ever having a Black Panther suit in the comics. But he does have 2 pet leopards.
Didn't he take up the mantle of Black Panther for a while?
No.
I thought I heard that somewhere.
I don't remember. He might have.
And I've also heard like people throwing around the name Golden Jaguar. Does that ring a bell?
No, it's not a jaguar. It's a leopard. Jaguars are native to South America, not Africa.
Golden leopard. I think it was jaguar. I don't know.
No. It would be a leopard. He has 2 pet leopards, and I think this is paying homage to that. Okay. That kind of thing. So he has a Black Panther suit, but it's gold and it has leopard print on it. Yeah, Jaguars are South American.
That's true. I do, yeah, but I do have to, yeah, when we see him suit up, that was one of the moments where I was definitely like, what the what? And I didn't like it. I don't like that he's another Black Panther. I mean, mix up the suit a little bit more than what you've done.
Yeah.
I think. This is the most sort of like blatant, like mirror image to the hero that Marvel has ever done. It's like a 1-for-1 copy almost.
Where they have the exact same powers, the exact same look.
Yeah.
Just different color scheme. It's a palette swap.
It's like the biggest one since I think like Ironmonger or whatever.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Well, I think it'll work well. I mean, the fight near the end, it looks like it's happening underground and maybe in the vibranium mines.
Yeah, it does. It looks really interesting.
Yeah, it looks cool. Just the way they're like his purple Black Panther suit and Killmonger's gold. The way those colors are playing against the blue of the vibranium. Looks really cool, I think. It looks like Killmonger, his suit stems from his necklace, his gold necklace that he's wearing.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's more nanotechnology than anything else.
Do you think it's the same for Black Panther?
It might be. He might wear some kind of... Maybe it comes from his ring or something, because I know that the ring...
Sounds very Flash.
Yeah, kind of like the Flash. Like, oh, that's interesting. I don't think that in the DC films universe, I don't think the Flash will ever get his costume from his ring. I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised. It kind of makes sense here, though. The end of this trailer takes place in South Korea, where all the cars are flipping, and we see Claw use his hand cannon for the first time, his sonic cannon.
Yeah, and I was wondering
it looks
about
interesting.
that. Yeah.
It doesn't look like the comics. It doesn't look like that satellite dish kind of feel to it.
No, it looks like his fingers just like split open. It's a prosthetic hand, which is pretty cool.
It's weird looking. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't even catch that on my first viewing, how it opened up. I had to watch it in slow motion. And I was like, that's disgusting. But it's a pretty powerful cannon. They say that the device is actually a Wakandan mining tool, vibranium mining tool. And they use sonic waves to mine or something like that. So it looks pretty powerful.
I remember in the comics, like Claw being able to generate constructs, almost like a Green Lantern with his hand.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, later on, able to create sound constructs.
I wonder if they're going to go that far.
I don't know. They might save. I think the main villain of this is Killmonger, and Claw's just the secondary villain. If they were going to go that route, they might save it for the sequel. There was a cool shot where Claw shoots a car that Black Panther's riding on top of. Pretty sure that driver's dead. But like it flings Black Panther off the top, and he does that cool thing where he can, because with his vibranium soles on his boots, he can run up buildings for a short time. So he does that here. That was really cool. I think this is the second coolest shot of the trailer after falling out of the plane, where he claws the tires of the car that Claw's in.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I was like, I'm surprised Wolverine hasn't done something like that.
I didn't expect that. It's another thing I've never seen before.
Yeah.
As promised from the very beginning.
Yeah, they do a good job. And then after that, we see his suit glow purple. And I don't know what that means, but...
Yeah, he doesn't have his eye lenses on that scene.
Oh, he doesn't? Oh, no, he doesn't. That's right. I wonder if something's wrong there.
I don't know.
But... in all, I liked it just as much as the teaser trailer. I'm super interested, not just excited about this movie to come out in a few months, but it's just, I'm interested in it.
Yeah. I love at the end how it's like, the revolution will be live.
We'll be live.
I was like, oh, shit.
It's going down.
Would you rather have, based off this trailer, the Iron Man suit or the Black Panther suit?
Oh, that's a good question. Which Iron Man suit? Because I don't want the shitty one that falls apart all the time from Iron Man 3.
The Iron Man 3 one. No, I don't know.
I don't know. It depends on if I want to be stealthy or if I just want to blow a bunch of shit up. I think the offensive capabilities of the Iron Man suit are greater, but I like the cool factor of the Black Panther suit. So
I'd rather take the Black Panther.
Okay, honestly, I'd rather take the Iron Man suit because he can fly.
I'd rather take Black Panther.
Black Panther can't fly.
It's sort of like the question, would you rather fly or would you rather be invisible?
I'd rather fly.
Yeah, I chose the wrong answer. I chose invisible.
Yeah, you creepo. All right.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do good just with an invisibility power. How do you use that for good? I don't know.
Morally good?
Yeah.
All right, that does it for that trailer. Let's get into the New Mutants one. So we had heard beforehand, and we had discussed it a little bit on this podcast, that the New Mutants is going to take a horror angle. It's going to be in the horror genre. An X-Men movie in the horror genre. And in my head, I was imagining something along the lines of Legion, which at some points was very much a horror show. Mm-hmm. Again, like when we graded that, I said Legion defies genre. Yeah. But in some parts, it was a horror show. And I set my expectations there. I don't quite think that this New Mutants trailer met my expectations. I was disappointed by it.
Really? Yes. I was not disappointed by this. It was definitely not what I expected. I didn't think they were going to take it this far. This feels like very like gritty Saw 1 almost.
Yeah.
It feels very... It's way darker.
It feels like a lot of things. Like
way darker than I thought.
I thought it was going to be more unique. I wanted like a unique sci-fi horror kind of thing.
In terms of like the superhero film genre going on right now, this is unique. What other superhero film is like this?
In terms of the superhero genre, yes, but in terms of the horror genre, it's not unique. It looks very generic, I think, to me. I've seen a lot of this before.
But I don't care because I don't watch other horror films. I'm going to watch this one because it's a superhero film.
I do watch other horror films, and maybe that's where our different perspectives are coming from, because I do watch a lot of horror films, and yeah, I admire Fox for, like, you know, having the balls to, like, go in this radically different direction with the superhero genre. Mm-hmm. But I wish they would have been unique there. Does that make sense?
I guess. I'm not sure how you would have done that.
Do you remember when we got that animatic for the New Mutants? Supposedly this is supposed to be based off the Demon Bear saga.
Right.
That animatic was so unique and interesting style-wise.
I hated that animatic.
The art direction felt very Bill Sienkiewicz, who was the artist of the New Mutants, and he also did Moon Knight and a bunch of other stuff. His work is very surreal, kind of creepy. I wanted to see a lot of that influence, I guess. So that's what I imagined in my head when thinking of this movie, and that's not what we got. There's some parts...
I hated the animatic though. I like this a lot more.
The dialogue in the animatic was atrocious, but I do not see anything even resembling the animatic in this trailer.
That's true.
It doesn't look the same at all. I guess it takes place in some kind of... I guess it's a hospital. It's a psychiatric hospital.
Like an asylum.
An asylum kind of thing. But what's interesting is that the song choice that they have makes it seem like a school as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a school.
The song choice, of course, being Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall.
Right. So I thought at first, when they first started playing that song, I was like, oh, this is like a Bizarro World Xavier's School for the Gifted.
Yeah.
It's like a school, but more of like a detention, like a school prison kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there was the line later on where he says, this isn't a hospital, it's a haunted house, which I thought was a pretty cool concept. Mm-hmm. Like a hospital that's a haunted house that's feels like a haunted house because of all the weird powers that the mutants have that are inside of the hospital.
Yeah.
There are several culprits who may be causing all of this weirdness in the school. We do see a shot where Cannonball goes up to, I guess, it's a washing machine?
I think it's a washing machine.
And there's a hand that goes up against it. A dryer, maybe. But I think that's Sunspot. Because Sunspot has,
fire powers.
Heat powers.
Yeah.
I think that's Sunspot in the dryer. And I don't know what the hell he's doing there. Maybe he just got confused when he was doing his laundry or something.
What?
But it was a creepy shot. I thought that was probably the best shot of this trailer. Because
it's like the only real power shot that we saw.
Yeah, it was an effective scare. Yeah, it was like...
I can't wait to see the Soul Sword. I can't wait to see, Wolfsbane in full wolf mode.
Right.
I can't wait to see Cannonball just tearing through some walls or whatever.
Yeah. And I do hope we get to see all that, because right now it looks like they spent no money on this film.
Yeah, it does feel kind of cheap.
Yeah, it feels really low budget, and I do hope we get to see all that cool mutant action. I hope it's not like The Fucking Gifted.
But I think that's in keeping with just the horror genre in general. I think one of the easiest sort of genre for young filmmakers to get into is horror, because you could you could elicit some real emotion for some really
for
not
cheap.
a whole lot of dollars, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's the whole reason why they went down this route. I don't know.
But really, the whole attraction to this film, to this trailer, is the cast. Seeing, what is her name? Anya Stark. What is her name in real life?
Oh, I don't know that. Wolfsbane.
Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Seeing her, seeing Anya Taylor-Joy, seeing the guy from Stranger Things. Like, I'm excited to see those characters because I know those are talented actors.
It's a great group of up-and-comers.
For sure.
I'm hard-pressed to think of a more talented cast or a better fit cast for these characters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's like a dream cast.
Yeah, if they're
it's like
an
internet fan cast come to life.
Going back to the culprits idea, like a lot of this weird stuff might be caused by Dani Moonstar, who's the main character in this film. She's the Indian American actress who is being spoken to by the doctor, who talks about how baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than normal rattlesnakes because they don't know how to control their venom.
Yeah.
Her ability is to create illusions. That's one of her abilities. She can create mirages. So I don't know if some of this is just her not being able to control her powers and seeing a lot of weird stuff and being spooked by it and spooking other people. There was this effect where it was a guy coming through the wall. That was a really cheap effect. I mean, it was used in Nightmare on Elm Street. There's another interesting shot where Magic and Cannonball are walking into a room with this little girl who's holding like a teddy bear, and like standing over her is this weird creepy dude wearing this mask.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
I mean, like if I didn't know any better, like if Legion wasn't a TV show and it was just this movie, I would have been like, oh, maybe that's Legion. Like maybe he could be causing havoc with all his different personalities and shit.
Why did you go to Legion? Does he wear a mask?
Well, he was in the New Mutants. He played a big part in the New Mutants.
Oh.
In the comics.
Oh.
That original run. So I was like, that would be cool if that was Legion, but it can't be now that they have the TV show. So I don't know who this guy is. I couldn't even fathom my guess right now. The weird, like if you take it frame by frame, underneath that smiley face mask that he's wearing that he rips off, his skin is like kind of charred. It's almost like a Deadpool face kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know who that could be.
What should be Deadpool?
That would be hilarious.
This is Ryan Reynolds
I'm just gonna
there.
go fuck with some kids.
Scared you.
It was all just a test, just to see who could take it.
It's who could be in the X-Force.
Who is the strongest? Who wants to join my team with me and Cable? But later on,
it is very like Hugh Jackman stapled to his face in the first Deadpool movie.
Yeah,
with just the paper mask.
Right. I could totally see him doing that now. Oh man, if it's not Deadpool, I'm gonna be disappointed.
It's not gonna be Deadpool.
Yeah, so later on in the trailer, during some like quick cuts, we see it looks like Cannonball is down in what looks like a mine. Maybe it's like underneath the hospital or something. I don't know, but it looks like that's paying an homage to My Bloody Valentine. I think that was the one. Isn't that the one where the bad guy is like a miner with like a pickaxe? I think it was My Bloody Valentine. But yeah, just another film that it's like paying homage to in terms of horror.
I don't even remember that scene in the trailer.
Yeah, well, it's done during some quick shots, so you only see like 2 or 3 glimpses of it. But there's like a bunch of people wearing miners' helmets, and they're like chasing Cannonball.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. There was also another scene that was straight out of Psycho, where we see Wolfsbane.
Oh yeah, she's like screaming in the shower.
She's in the shower. Yeah, and her hands are near her face, just exactly like how that movie was shot.
That's true.
In Psycho, when she was getting stabbed. So there's a lot of homages here. Which makes it feel rather generic to me. I think going back to that, I see a lot of other stuff in here. There's even a part that kind of feels a little like hostile-ish at the very end. It looks like she's being tortured or something.
Yeah, that was weird. I forget what the doctor lady said. She said like you've been
through a lot or something.
You need some rest. And then like I expected something like really big to happen, but no, it's just someone wearing like some oxygen mask. Just wriggling.
They keep using this fake female scream. It's like the equivalent of the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
But like horror female scream.
Uh-huh.
They used that like 5 times during the course of this trailer. If you watch it again, it's like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't get high pitch enough. It's like, ah!
That was not even close.
I can't even get it. But, like, you hear it nonstop, and you hear it again, and there's a very last shot where she's like, it sounds like she's screaming. But it's not really her screaming. It's the same scream that you hear throughout the course of this trailer.
Yeah.
It feels really kind of lazily put together, and my overall impression was, oh, that might not be good. I'm not as excited for it as I was prior to it. So, in terms of doing its job as a trailer, for me, it failed. It got me less hyped for the movie. But, all right, so staying in the X-Men universe, let's move on to the next tidbit of news here. We got a release date for Gambit. It's going to be February 14th, 2019. So, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Don't copy me when I say things. Jeez. So I guess that's fitting for a Channing Tatum film and a Gambit film, being the romantic that he is. Not too much to report on there, though. It is interesting that the villain is not going to be Mr. Sinister, the main villain. It's going to be...
We don't know that.
Well, they're saying that it's going to be Kendra the Benefactress, also known as Red Death.
Whoever the hell that is. I have no idea who that is.
No one does, unless you were really into the X-Men in the early 90s. But she's from a sub-race of mutants known as the Externals, who are immortal. I think Apocalypse is one of them.
What?
I don't know. But she's immortal, and she has telekinesis and has an extreme healing factor. Basically, that's her ability. But she was the head of both the Assassin's Guild and the Thieves Guild. And she has, like, she stored all of her, like, immortality and her powers in, like, this gem kind of thing. And I'm wondering if maybe that might be the object that Gambit may have to steal or something. I don't know.
He doesn't have to steal, he just has to touch it. Then it explodes, and then movie over.
Oh, yeah, there you go. He just charges it full of kinetic energy.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's pretty much it for that news.
I am kind of glad it's not going to be Mr. Sinister, because, again, I think we've mentioned this before. I want that for, like, a Cyclops-related film.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Maybe Cable.
Yeah, I usually tie him in with the Summers family tree. Anyway, that's it for that. I got a release date again. I remember the original release date was October 2016.
It was supposed to be end of last year.
End of last year, and now it's not going to be out until 2019, so that's pretty crazy.
It is.
It just doesn't want to die. Maybe it'll be good. We'll see. All right. The Skrulls will reportedly make their live-action debut in X-Men Dark Phoenix. This is just a rumor for now, but I thought it was worth commenting on, because if it is true, it is the biggest piece of bullshit ever. As we know, X-Men Dark Phoenix is coming out next year, in 2018. In 2019, we're going to get the Captain Marvel film starring Brie Larson as Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel.
And we've seen concept art for those Skrulls.
Yeah, and that movie, the storyline that's going to take place for that movie is the Kree-Skrull War. So we're finally going to see, and we've seen concept art of the Skrulls, and they look amazing. All of a sudden, the Skrulls are going to be in X-Men Dark Phoenix coming out next year. So Fox is going to beat them to the punch if this rumor is true. It's exactly like the Quicksilver fiasco. Fiasco, where Marvel announced that they were going to use Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in their film, and that was dated back to even around when they were shooting The Winter Soldier, because Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch made their first appearance in that film on the end credit stinger.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Fox is like, oh yeah, we're going to use Quicksilver too, because he's a mutant. And so they put him into their film. I think both characters were used well. Probably Fox used him better because of the scenes that he was in, but I felt like he was less true to the comic books character than the Marvel version. I thought Marvel's Quicksilver was much truer to the comics.
Yeah.
The character.
I also felt like Marvel, I don't know, killed him off just in spite of this whole situation.
Right.
I think they were like, oh, we don't want a character that we don't have exclusive rights to, so just kill him off.
It kind of felt that way, yeah. So Fox is just they're pissing me off because I blame them for the death of Quicksilver. I blame them for just fucking up the whole continuity feel. I know that these are not supposed to be the same universes, the X-Men in the Marvel Universe. But I don't like them sharing characters. Mm-hmm. And also, it doesn't make sense for the Skrulls to be in an X-Men movie. Whenever the X-Men have had intergalactic, dealings, it's always been the Shi'ar Empire that's dealt with them.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason that Fox gets to use the Skrulls is because they have the Fantastic Four rights.
Exactly. It's so stupid. They should put the Shi'ar in the Dark Phoenix film and let Marvel use the Skrulls. I mean, let them use them exclusively.
But how does that benefit Fox in any way?
It doesn't. That's the whole thing. It doesn't benefit Fox to use the Skrulls. As a matter of fact, it probably hurts them because it's not true to the universe. It's supposed to be the Shi'ar. And they're doing it just to be fucking assholes and to piss me off, if the rumors are true.
Good. Let the hate stew.
I remember, so it was, the big rumor was that Jessica Chastain was going to play Lilandra, who's the Empress of the Shi'ar Empire. Now I'm wondering if she's actually going to be the Skrull Empress Veranke, who was the one who kind of enacted the whole secret invasion thing, which they can't do in the X-Men movie. It's so fucking stupid. I don't know.
Especially if it's the Phoenix Saga. You can't, how are you going to tie
Secret Invasion
into the Phoenix Saga?
I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to work. I hope that this rumor is false. I really do. I've never boycotted a Marvel movie before, but I would seriously consider thinking about it.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. I would still watch it.
Well, okay, would you boycott it if Fox announced that they were doing Secret Invasion?
Yes. Maybe. No, I would still watch it. I don't know. It depends on if they
because that may screw up Marvel's entire Phase 4. Because if their whole Phase 4 is Secret Invasion, then Fox is like, oh, we're going to do it first. Haha, suck it. Then if I were Kevin Feige, I'd be like, pay them whatever they need to get the rights back for the Fantastic Four.
Right.
I almost wonder if that's what Fox is trying to do, just trying to get money out of them.
Like to hold a ransom, kind of?
Essentially. Be like, hey, you know what? You showed your cards. We're going to use these characters now. We're going to use the storyline that you want to do before you, because we can. Pay us money.
Give us money, or
yeah.
the Human Torch gets it.
Exactly.
Bastards. Anyway, that's it for that news. It's it's just a rumor. May not need to take this seriously, but if it is true, fuck them. All right, moving on. Where are we? Oh, Punisher. All right, so the Punisher trailer came out. I didn't like this one as much as the last trailer that started with him teaching his daughter Metallica's One on the guitar.
Right.
That was just that was one of my favorite trailers of the year.
Yeah. For
sure.
Yeah.
But this one was more story oriented.
And I don't like the story. I think I have a problem with the government being the villain all the time in these military stories.
Yeah, it's like a big government conspiracy where
I preferred it when his family was gunned down by the mob.
It was the Irish mob, the Mexican cartel, and who was the third group in that? From Daredevil season 2, I can't remember. But anyway, it was a 3-way gang fight, and they were caught in the middle. And the whole thing was supposed to be a sting to draw out the blacksmith who was selling heroin to these 3 mob groups. But he didn't show up. The mobs got antsy. They started a firefight, and Frank Castle's family died in the center of it. And so he started taking out all those mob members.
Right, it was in Central Park, right?
Yeah, it was like a big conspiracy because the DA also dropped the ball, and so they were trying to cover it up and everything. They wanted Frank Castle dead or in jail.
Yeah. But this seems like he did something abroad that he shouldn't have done. Now, this government
or was ordered to do.
It was ordered to do.
That was morally
government
questionable.
Agency is trying to cover it up.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're the ones that killed the family instead.
Yeah,
it's a little weird. It's the whole cause of the family death keeps getting more and more convoluted.
And I like it when it's just simple. It should just be simple.
Yeah. But it's a good way to bring in Micro. It seems like Micro will be an interesting character in this because it looks like something similar happened to him. And I'm guessing that at the start of the series is when Frank Castle is kind of stepping away from being the Punisher. and it's Micro that really brings him back in by revealing this whole conspiracy thing. Like, maybe it wasn't these mob people. Maybe it was just a cover for, the government to try to kill you and accidentally killed your family. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Somehow it ties in with this, I guess, FBI detective or police detective. She's working on a story that she thinks Frank Castle is involved in. I guess she gets hurt somewhere along the way because we see him carrying her away from some kind of car crash later on in the story too. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of side characters. We see Karen Page back again. It looks like she's trying to do the whole thing that she did in Daredevil, where it's like,
stop being so awesome.
Yeah, stop being awesome. Be lame. But no, he has to be the Punisher, so he has to kill people. Yeah. Not much else in this one.
It's a lot of quick shots.
We see a little bit more gunplay action. Really looking forward to that. We had a lot more of that in the last trailer, though. That last trailer was just amazing.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
The big surprise at the end of this one was the date reveal. Like, the trailer ended, and they did that thing where, like, the letters were scrambled, and I was like, oh, been there. They're just going to do this dumb shit again. I wish they would just reveal the date. And then all of a sudden I saw
revealed the date.
Then I saw the word November, and I'm like, what? Then I saw 2017, and I was like, yeah, I already knew that. But I figured they would just leave it at November 2017 and leave the date still scrambled.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it said 17.
Yeah.
Which is
some bullshit.
Interesting.
Which is some bullshit.
Because it's the same exact date that Justice League goes to theaters.
And this is the same bullshit that they pulled with Daredevil Season 2 and Batman v Superman.
It's just good business sense.
Why is Marvel so threatened by DC that they have to try and sabotage their release dates?
Well, if DC produced more television and film content, they would be able to do this to Marvel.
I'm pretty sure they produce more television content than Marvel. They just don't have this bullshit deal with Netflix because they have their own network. Well, I guess Marvel does as well with Disney. But they don't have to release their shows on a specific date.
Yeah. When I saw that the Punisher trailer had a release date, and I went up to Jonathan right after I saw the trailer, and I said, Punisher's being released the same day as Justice League. You got so pissed off. It was hilarious. We were at work, because now I'm working where Jonathan works, and you dropped your headphones, you threw your hands up in the air, and you let out a big fuck. And I remember one of the other coworkers was like, "What's wrong, man?" And you're like, "Punisher's being released as the same day as Justice League," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure only you would be mad about that." But for you, this is a big deal.
It is really, really shitty. Like, how shitty do you have to be to do something like that?
Like, shitty or a
shitty? No, I mean shitty.
Oh, okay.
I mean shitty.
Okay.
It's not cool.
It's a good way to keep down the competition.
I think I'm gonna boycott the show because of it.
No, you can't.
I know.
Well, we will be reviewing the Punisher season 1 Netflix show. We'll be reviewing that after
our Justice League review.
Not because it won't be the same episode. We'll wait.
Yeah,
because you need time to watch all 13 episodes anyway.
Yeah.
So that'll be the first weekend of December, I think, that we review the Punisher.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty dumb. This trailer didn't excite me again because of the whole government. When the government is the one that kills your family, don't you want to take down the government instead of gangsters? But also because...
Well, he is taking down people who are affiliated with it. He took down gangsters in Daredevil Season 2. In this one, he's going after the... I don't know if it's the government so much as a rogue government agent.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, in the comics, the Punisher is motivated to take out, like, all, criminal elements.
Right.
But when you have this vendetta against the government, don't you just want to, like... destroy the government?
Again, his vendetta is not against the government, it's against these rogue government people.
I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that makes me... The whole trailer just makes me less excited for the show. The fact that they're doing this douchebag release date makes me not want to watch the show. I don't know. I don't like it.
I think it's funny.
I think
it's funny it's coming out the same day as Justice League.
It's not funny at all.
It makes me laugh. It brings a smile to my face, and I vocally chortle.
Whatever.
Way to go, guys. Way to go, Marvel. Team Marvel. All right. Moving on to the few bits of DC news that we have.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Ryan Potter has been cast as Beast Boy in the live-action Titan series, which is pretty interesting because he campaigned pretty heavily for the role of Tim Drake.
In the Batman movie?
In the Batman movie. He made a YouTube video a while ago aimed towards Ben Affleck back when Ben Affleck was directing.
Oh, really?
To cast him as Tim Drake in the Batman movie. Now, Ryan Potter, he's a Nickelodeon star. Like, he stars in his own TV show. I forget the name of it. I didn't watch it. I don't watch it. But I think he got like a ton of fan backing who were like, yeah, we would totally love to see Tim Drake, as this Asian martial arts star. And it was a pretty cool video. So,
is he a pretty good martial artist?
Yeah, that's what he's known for. The TV show he's on in Nickelodeon, I guess, is based around martial arts, like ninjas or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I guess
Is Beast Boy a big martial artist?
No, but like it's good to have that physicality when you're playing Beast Boy, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna be Beast Boy. He's not gonna be Tim Drake.
He looks like him. I have to say that it's pretty good. The facial structure, kind of.
Yeah, it is a good casting choice. I'm not too disappointed that he's not Tim Drake. I don't think Tim Drake is gonna be in the Batman movie. So, and he seems more of like a TV actor. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah. I think he's going to kick ass in this Beast Boy role though. This live action Teen Titans cast, it's a really, really good cast, really solid cast.
Yeah, I mean, again, we still have the huge age range. It seems like Raven and Beast Boy will be the youngest.
Yeah,
and Starfire and Nightwing will be the oldest.
No, it looks like Hawk and Dove will be the
Hawk and
oldest.
Dove, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot they were in this.
Minka Kelly, how could you forget about Minka Kelly?
I don't remember things.
Oh.
It's a pretty good cast. I'm looking forward to the show. It's a good TV cast, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if the casting is complete. I mean, the only other cast member you would really have would be Cyborg, honestly.
They're not going to go with him.
It doesn't seem like... I would be surprised if they put him in the show. Even though they could, because they have 2 Flashes.
Right.
They're going to have 2 Nightwings. Why not have 2 Cyborgs? I just think DC's really pushing to keep Cyborg affiliated with the Justice League. So,
yeah, and I don't think he would be as visually impressive in a TV show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a ton of budget will go to Raven and Starfire and Beast Boy. So I'm sure it'd be hard to add more money just for a Cyborg, which would need to be a constant CG element, probably.
They might go practical with it. You never know. Like they did with the...
That's true.
The Steel movie with Shaquille O'Neal. That was all practical.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just looking forward to the show. I think it was a good casting choice. The other DC news is that CW is working with Elizabeth Banks to create a Dr. 13 / Traci 13 show. Right now it's tentatively titled Project 13.
Who is Dr. 13?
Dr. 13 is a paranormal
investigator,
I guess you could say.
Like Constantine?
Constantine is like a con man. He's like a sorcerer. Dr. 13, he doesn't have superpowers. In fact, he debunks supernatural elements. But his daughter, Traci 13, she actually she's homo magi, which means that she's like a naturally born sorcerer or magic user. Mm-hmm. So to me, what this signals is that they're canceling Supernatural, because this is going to be the exact same premise as Supernatural, where they travel around, investigating supernatural things. That's exactly what the story of Dr. 13 is, and his daughter. It's not so much his daughter, but definitely Dr. 13.
I guess you couldn't have both shows going concurrently with such similar plots.
You couldn't, yeah.
Supernatural has been going on for a long time now, though, so it might be around that time. I don't know. I don't watch it, so I don't know if they've announced that this upcoming season is the last season, but I'm
pretty sure they just found out when they announced the news that CW is working on another similar show.
Interesting.
So, no casting news or anything like that. We just have an executive producer.
Is that superhero related? Is that even a show that we would maybe cover on this podcast?
No. I mean, we don't review the other CW shows.
Because they all suck.
No, they don't.
Okay.
You can't say that. They actually just started up again. I haven't watched them.
Because they suck.
No, I can't. Not enough hours in the day. Not enough hours in the week. But no, it's interesting that Elizabeth Banks is attached. That's a high-profile actor.
Yeah. Well, she was Betty Brant. That was the first time I ever saw her.
Oh, that's
actually.
Right. Yeah.
In Spider-Man.
And now she's moving to DC, where the good stuff is.
She's turned to the dark side. All right, I think that does it for all the news. We've gone on pretty long.
Yeah.
Let's get into the main event and talk about who would win in a fight between Scarecrow and Mysterio. All right, in one of our spookiest fights ever.
The spookiest.
Joker and Green Goblin was pretty spooky.
I guess Demon and Etrigan.
Yeah.
Or Ghost Rider Etrigan.
That was pretty spooky too.
But this is the
spookiest one of this year. Just in time for Halloween, we're pitting Scarecrow versus Mysterio, two masters of hallucinatory whatevers. Fear things.
Illusions.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty good matchup. Looking forward to see who will win. I don't know too much about Scarecrow, so I hope you don't have any surprises for me.
I only know Mysterio from, like, the cartoon, and I'm pretty sure Scarecrow could stomp his ass.
Mysterio doesn't have an ass.
Shows
how much you know.
Is that an expression?
I'm about to teach you about Mysterio. So how this works is we take the Deadliest Warrior approach. I don't know if you remember that show from Spike TV.
The show's like 10 years old now. I wonder if anyone remembers
Maybe we should stop saying that.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Basically what they do is they pit two warriors against each other, and they run 1,000 simulations using the Monte Carlo method. It's a probabilistic model. It's basically just a spreadsheet with all the stats from the warriors that they run across a standard deviation and see which numbers come out on top. That's what we do. So it's no fan votes, no uncharacteristic feats of strength. It's just all stats all the time, 24/7. Most of our stats that we use are based off of the official Marvel power rankings, and we don't account for any sort of environment when the heroes are fighting each other.
Right, because it's too big a variable.
Right, yeah. It plays too big of a part in the fight. Well, some heroes would be able to pounce on other heroes in one environment and not be able to do so in another. So during this fight...
So we just don't account for it.
Yeah, we just say no environment. It's just like an empty, big room that they fight in. What we do before we run the simulations, though, is we give background on each character, and then we speculate on how we think one of these 1,000 battles would go.
Yep.
So let's get into it. I think it's my turn to start. I'll start off with Mysterio.
Yeah.
All right. So Mysterio is a cool, psychedelic Spider-Man villain. I think he's criminally underrated.
I know he's teased. I remember reading the Daredevil, what was it, Born Again story. You'll probably get into this later.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, Kingpin didn't even want to have anything to do with it. He was like, hurry up and go away. Make this quick. I'm embarrassed to be with you or something, near you.
Yeah. But I think that was probably Mysterio's most successful attack on a hero was against Daredevil, actually, even though he's traditionally a Spider-Man villain. But we'll get into that. So I would imagine fighting Mysterio is akin to like a bad acid trip. I really think Scarecrow is going to have a hard time, provided that he's never done acid before. All right, so not much is known about Quentin Beck's early life, that's Mysterio, but his mastery of illusions had its roots in a career in Hollywood. He started out as a stuntman for a major studio, then developed an interest in film special effects, and became one of the most talented and accomplished names in the business. Despite his success behind the camera, Beck felt he wasn't getting enough recognition for his skill, and decided that the best way to garner that acclaim for his talents was to take down a superhero. So he set his sights...
That's a weird motivation.
Yeah, fame, basically. Notoriety.
Interesting.
He set his sights on Spider-Man, who at the time was pretty young and inexperienced. So in his first attack on Spider-Man, he posed as the wall crawler himself and successfully framed him for theft. Then Beck revealed himself as a superhero. He came out to the public as a superhero named Mysterio, who had magic powers, and he said he would bring Spider-Man to justice. He legitimately got Peter Parker to believe that he had multiple personality disorder, and got him to see a psychiatrist.
Really?
It was a good plan, but Spider-Man planted a spider tracer on Beck and followed him to his base and discovered he's just a special effects genius guy. A lot of Mysterio's plans proved to be brilliant, but ultimately unsuccessful at killing Spider-Man, so he decided to join the Sinister Six, figuring he would have better odds working with a team. The Sinister Six's original plan, when they first formed, was it was to kidnap Betty Brant and leave 6 clues to her whereabouts. And at each clue, one of the Sinister Six would be waiting with a trap.
That's dumb. Why not all gang up on him at the same time?
I don't know. But that was their plan. So I guess pride? I don't know. So after Spider-Man beat Electro and Kraven, he went to Mysterio's trap. And Mysterio had created robots resembling the X-Men to attack Spider-Man. Mind you, the robots had the X-Men's powers, but there was no Jean Grey bot. But he had like a Cyclops bot that could shoot lasers and things like that. So, but Spider-Man defeated them all.
It's not energy, it's a force.
He would shoot a force beam, whatever. Mysterio was actually the most triumphant, not against Spider-Man, but Daredevil in the Guardian Daredevil storyline written by Kevin Smith. So after learning Daredevil's secret identity from the Kingpin, Mysterio successfully framed Foggy Nelson for murder, convinced Karen Page that she had AIDS, and drove Matt Murdock insane. It was this whole subplot where he was charged to take after an infant who he had become convinced was the Antichrist. It was a crazy story, and eventually it culminated in the death of Karen Page. So it ended up all being a plot by Mysterio to get Daredevil to kill him, because he learned that he was succumbing to a brain tumor. And then Daredevil refused, so Mysterio shot himself in the head with a shotgun to kill himself.
That was crazy, that whole storyline.
Yeah, I like that storyline.
Really good.
But it was all an illusion, and Beck came back as Mysterio, and when appearing without his glass dome helmet, he had like a huge piece of his head missing, and claimed to have returned from hell.
What?
Yeah, that was upon his first return. It was really creepy. It all turned out to be just another special effect, though.
Did he not really have a tumor?
That's unclear. It's unclear how he came back. Maybe he didn't have a tumor at all, or maybe it went away somehow. They never really explain, except for the fact that him shooting himself in the face was not real. Mysterio's actually one of the few characters to have discovered and interacted with the Marvel Ultimate Universe back when that was around. And the Ultimate version of Mysterio, who's like this guy his face is just like it's a smoky face kind of thing. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have like the glass dome. The Ultimate Mysterio was actually an android created by the regular universe Beck Mysterio. He was, and then he was pulled into the Ultimate Universe for a time until the Secret Wars event happened and all the universes merged and Beck was able to return.
That was just recently.
Yeah. Last we saw Mysterio, he was in a scheme where he hacked Peter Parker's company, Parker Industries. He hacked them to use their internet devices to beam illusions into the minds of everyone that would use them. Kind of like the Riddler in Batman Forever. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of. But he ended up being run over by Deadpool.
What?
Yeah, Deadpool ran him over. That's pretty much it. These supervillain backstories are a lot shorter than the heroes because they don't have their own titles and their appearances are few and far between. Yeah.
I thought Mysterio appeared a lot more times.
He did. I didn't go into every single appearance
because they're all just failures.
Yeah, they're all just pretty much failures. But despite being a failure, I think conceptually, I think he's a very cool character. I think he has a lot more potential than has ever been used. I think he's a lot cooler in some of the video games I've played with him than in any of the stories that I've read with him.
He's kind of tailor-made for that in a way.
You could do anything with him in a video game, really. because he's the master of illusion. He can, even though he can't do anything, he can give the appearance that he can, pretty much. So you can fight like a 200 tall foot Mysterio and things like that,
or like multiple Mysterios, or
exactly.
Yeah.
So so for his powers, he doesn't have powers, obviously, so much as abilities and weapons. First off, he's a visual effects artist extraordinaire with specific focuses in mechanical engineering, so robots, chemistry, and acting. He can design and create nearly any robot one can imagine, and it'll be dangerous and highly realistic to whatever's built to imitate. Mm-hmm. So he can create like really convincing human robots that he can control. He uses his chemical hallucinogenic concoctions, and they can be customized to make the recipient perceive anything he wants them to perceive. He can manipulate people through hypnosis as well for when robots won't work. He's a meticulous planner and highly intelligent strategist, usually accounting for every possible contingency in his illusions. He's also a trained stuntman and escape artist, so he has some physicality as well. Mm-hmm. On his person, he carries holographic projectors that can project any number of illusions. His gloves are armed with hallucinogenic gas emitters, and his boots project a gas that shrouds him wherever he goes. When he's cloaked, his special one-way acrylic glass helmet has a sonar device that allows him to see where he's going. The helmet only has 30 minutes of oxygen air supply in it, though.
What?
He carries some more advanced tech that was given to him by the Tinkerer, including a teleporting device that like lets him like teleport like in a cloud of smoke kind of. Uh-huh. And he uses that to confuse his opponent. He also has 2 cape buckles that attach his cape to his costume in the front, and they look like eyes.
Yeah.
And they shoot lasers. It's like an electric,
like holograms.
No, it's an actual laser. It's like an electric laser blast kind of thing. It's an energy blast.
Oh, like a weaponized laser.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think I meant like a laser show at a concert. I was like, ooh.
Nope. Deadly lasers.
So. Okay, interesting. Mm-hmm. Is that it?
That's it. That's all I got on him.
Oh, short.
Short and sweet.
Okay, mine is not that short. It's a little bit longer. Scarecrow. Okay, so the Scarecrow's his real name is Dr. Jonathan Crane. He was created in 1941, and like a majority of...
Oh, wow, you're really going back. Okay.
Like a majority of Batman's most enduring villains, Scarecrow is a twisted mirror reflection of what Batman represents. So Batman, as we know, adopted the mantle of the Bat to instill fear in Gotham's citizens, especially the criminal and the corrupt. By creating a boogeyman for bad guys, you create a deterrence and psychological handicap. Scarecrow instills fear as well. He's obsessed with fear, addicted to the exhilaration that comes with fright. Just as Batman trained himself to be a master in martial arts and criminal investigation, Jonathan Crane became a leading expert in psychology and psychopharmacology, developing numerous gas inhalants and serums that mentally affect people's perceptions and behavior through fear, resulting in traumatic and unrelenting hallucinations of their worst nightmares. Here's where things get kind of dark.
Okay.
There have been multiple explanations, multiple versions of how he developed his obsession with fear, but in most of his origins, his obsession stems from a traumatic and abusive childhood.
Oh, is this like the DC thing where they have multiple origins because they keep retconning their universe?
Yeah.
Okay. You should just pick one.
I think they all kind of tie together in a way.
Okay.
After Jonathan's mother died when he was a small boy, his father repeatedly used to lock him in a small room under the floor in his own fear experiments. His father died during one of these times, and Jonathan was found starved and terrified later. He was then raised by his sadistic, physically abusive grandmother, who hated him and used to torture him with crows. As a really lanky, skinny kid...
How do you torture someone with crows? You just like grab a crow and peck him?
No, she trained them to attack him.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a really lanky, skinny kid, he was bullied and rejected in school, up through high school. He first dressed up as a Scarecrow during his senior prom, and brought a gun with him. He didn't shoot anyone, but in the chaos, his main bully ended up in a car accident that paralyzed him and killed Jonathan's high school crush, who herself also teased and rejected him.
Huh. Wow.
I'm not sure whether it was before or after this event when he murdered his grandmother.
Dang.
Yeah. He went on to study psychology, specializing in phobias, becoming a professor at Gotham University and a clinical psychologist at Arkham Asylum. Actually, one of his university students was Thomas Elliot, who would later become the villain Hush.
Oh, okay.
His villainous career in Gotham began when he was fired from the university for firing a gun during class, injuring a student. He became the Scarecrow again to kill those responsible for his termination in revenge. Now, throughout his years as a member of Batman's Rogues Gallery, he often teams up with other villains and is often, almost comically, always being betrayed or betraying those he works with. One of his chronologically earlier storylines had him team up with Professor Hugo Strange, also a psychologist and villain who knew Batman's secret identity as Bruce Wayne. After Professor Strange freed Scarecrow from Arkham Asylum, they worked together to turn Strange's mansion into a death trap for Batman. But Scarecrow impaled Strange on a weather vane and locked him in his own cellar. Their plan failed because Strange's knowledge of Batman's alter ego was critical to its success. Now, in The Long Halloween, Scarecrow partners with the Mad Hatter, and in its sequel, Dark Victory, he was in Two-Face's gang, at which time he injected fear gas into children's dolls during Christmas Eve, and he poisoned cigarettes to create a mob war.
Does the Scarecrow's gases do his gases make him feel fear and then kill him? Are his gases lethal, or are they not lethal?
No, they are not lethal, but they could definitely, like in the Dark Knight when he was saying he used a concentrated dose of his toxin. The mind could only take so much.
Okay.
So he could break people down just completely mentally,
make them go insane. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he could do that. He just doesn't do that. He doesn't kill people with the fear toxin.
Okay.
I think he would prefer other people to do the killing.
Okay.
So during Nightfall, he teamed up with the Joker, and he tried dousing the Joker with fear gas. Unbeknownst to him, the Joker is immune to all toxins. The Joker beat him to near death with a chair.
Dang.
The Penguin hired him once, but it was just a ruse to experiment on Scarecrow and turn him into a monstrous, gas-emitting Hulk-like creature known as the Scarebeast. Scarecrow reverted back to normal, to like his normal lanky Jonathan Crane self later on, but the Scarebeast returned once during the War Games storyline. He emerged after he was betrayed by Black Mask and was thrown into like an electrical clock tower security system. But that's the only other time he's appeared.
The Scarebeast?
The Scarebeast, yeah.
What does he look like?
He looks just like a really big version of a bigger, scarier version of Scarecrow, and he emits naturally his own fear gas.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. He also wielded a yellow ring of fear as a member of the Sinestro Corps during the Blackest Night storyline, and he really, really liked it. He was really good with it, but Lex Luthor stole it from him.
Oh, lame.
Yeah. He's taken a lot of shit from a lot of people, but he's also proven extremely useful to both villains and heroes. He once helped Aquaman develop a psychological profile for a serial killer, and he helped Batman by delivering a fake psychological profile to a Batman villainess named Mother. Mother had created a hypnotic signal to take control of children, and the Scarecrow developed a gas for Batman that counteracted the hypnosis. During the Hush storyline, Scarecrow helped Riddler and Hush manipulate the rest of Gotham's rogues and Batman himself through his psychological profiles and small amounts of gas exposure. He's also proven adept at chemically combining his fear toxin with other villains' formulas, so a lot of villains like to work with him. He's combined his fear toxin with Bane's venom serum, for example.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was actually Joker's toxin mixed with Scarecrow's fear gas that caused Superman to kill Lois Lane in the Injustice storyline.
Huh.
Scarecrow doesn't often resort to fisticuffs, but when the need arises, he can rely on his mastery of Crane-style kung fu.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, he mixes that. He mixes that with drunken boxing, drunken kung fu. So he holds his own using. He combines those to form a self-created form of fighting known as violent dancing. That's what he calls it.
Okay.
Which becomes even more lethal when he's wielding his scythe, as he's wont to do.
Oh, I've seen him here. I've seen him with that, yeah.
Yeah. His Scarecrow outfit and disturbing mask enhance the nightmarish hallucinations he causes, but they also protect him from breathing in his own gas. That said, he has been exposed to it while creating it, the gas, and as a result, he's become immune to fear.
Well, I've seen him sometimes wear a gas mask in some incarnations.
Yeah. In most incarnations.
But like the gas mask is outside of the...
Oh, on the outside? Yeah. Sort of like the Arkham Asylum kind of look.
Yeah.
From the
I never played that game.
It's a good game. So, he's immune to fear, which is awesome. He often emits his fear toxin from a skull-shaped gas spewer. But he could also vent it through his gloves or from special straws that are a part of his suit that he just snaps open.
Huh.
Recently, he's also carried concentrated serum in a Freddy Krueger-styled syringe-fingered glove, like what you see in the
I've seen that.
game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like
really
that.
cool. I like
Because
that
it's
a
a
lot.
weapon as well.
Yeah.
It's a stabby weapon.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
And that's Scarecrow.
That wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be.
No, me neither.
So what are his... Did you just go over his powers? Are those all of his powers?
Yeah.
So both of these guys use like hallucinogenic gases, but they both have gas masks.
Yeah.
So how is this going to work? I guess we'll just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Whoever breathes first loses. All right.
Well, here's the thing, though. The Scarecrow is not... He's immune to fear. He doesn't feel fear. Well, that's not entirely true. The one person he is afraid of is Batman. And that's why he's always constantly going up against Batman because of his addiction to fear and the exhilaration that comes with it. He fights Batman to feel that again. But otherwise, he's not. He's incapable of feeling fear.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there goes my strategy.
Well,
I'll have to think about this. Okay. So, all right. So now let's speculate on how we think one of the matches would go. The characters start 50 yards apart from each other in basically in a non-environment environment. And they know that each other are a threat, but they don't know anything else about the other character.
Right. First time meeting, they just know they have to defeat the other person.
So let's begin. Start at 50 yards apart. Mysterio, right away, he's going to enshroud himself in smoke because that's what he does. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know who this guy across from him is. So he's going to gain the upper hand by somewhat creating his environment.
That's a good strategy.
Here's
the thing. Scarecrow's gonna let him because Scarecrow is he's a psychologist expert, right? He's created numerous psychological profiles. So he's analyzing this guy straight from the bat. He's like, what would cause this guy to do this thing?
Okay.
But
he can't really analyze him if he can't see him, right? He just knows that he created a shroud. Now, Mysterio can see Scarecrow because of his sonar, but Scarecrow doesn't have sonar. He can't see Mysterio anymore.
True.
What does Scarecrow do in the middle of this thick smoke fog? Panic? No, he can't feel fear, huh?
No, he starts emitting his own gas from his skull, his little skull gas sprayer.
That's not going to do shit.
He's mixing up the gases.
I mean, that seems like something that he would do, I guess. But I don't know what good it's going to do.
It's his go-to move. It's going to be what he does right off the bat. Is he's going to try and not essentially like for theatrics, but his whole thing is making other people afraid through his gas.
Okay.
So whether Mysterio could breathe it or not, that's what Scarecrow's starting off with.
Okay.
So it's really smoky. in this non-environment right now.
So Mysterio can. So yeah, it's really smoky. We got both gases mixing. I think that since Mysterio can see that he's going up against a Scarecrow, he's going to probably do something like set him on fire. He'll
oh shit.
Yeah, he'll create like an incendiary kind of, or at least, I mean, he may not have anything to create the fire, but he'll project an illusion to make Scarecrow think that he is on fire.
Okay.
With one of his holographic.
But the Scarecrow isn't gonna feel the burn of the fire.
Oh yeah, maybe that's not a good idea.
So then the Scarecrow just laughs and then pulls out his scythe and just, he's walking around. He's probably like spewing out some nursery rhymes as he's wont to do, just to make things extra creepy.
Okay.
And, he's just waiting for Mysterio to. He's waiting to encounter Mysterio physically.
So he's just gonna walk around in the dark, so to speak, and wait for something to swing at.
In the fog, yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably swinging around like,
What does he do when he stumbles upon Mysterio?
He's gonna cut the shit out of him.
Okay, so let's say he finds Mysterio and he swings.
No, he probably, yeah, he swings at him.
Where does he get him with the scythe?
In the chest. I don't know.
Okay, so we'll say he gets him in the chest, right in the chest, deep in the chest, and then Mysterio laughs.
What?
And then the chest opens up, and out of the chest comes this big monster that growls at Scarecrow. See, it's hard. This would be so much easier if Scarecrow felt fear, because it turns out that it was an illusion. He didn't really get Mysterio. He got this duplicate of Mysterio, because Mysterio can do that. Uh-huh. And yeah, it'd be cool to see him like pull out this big monster.
But was it a physical duplicate or like a light hologram?
It could be a light hologram. I don't know.
Okay.
It could be anything.
So Scarecrow just saw him and just...
I'm assuming that any robots that we see in this fight are not going to be very large sized. Like, I don't think... Because we're assuming that we're just picking them up off the street as they are.
Yeah, there's no prep time.
Right, there's no prep time. So he's not going to have a whole lot of, like... He's not going to have, like, giant dinosaur robots or things like that,
But you could still do, like, holograms of those.
You can do holograms of those. Any robots that he'll have in this match will have been like small ones that were on his person,
right,
like behind his cape or something like that.
So this monster is coming out, and Scarecrow doesn't know that
it's a big crow monster.
Scarecrow doesn't.
It's like a giant crow, evil crow.
Yeah. Now he's trying to analyze Mysterio, but again, he doesn't even know Mysterio is like human. He could be an alien for all he knows.
Yeah.
And now he's like, what? He's not afraid, but he's definitely bewildered.
Yeah, I wonder if he's thinking at this time if he's undergone some sort of, if he's hallucinating.
I don't think I think he's intelligent enough to know. Maybe he's figuring out right now that this guy he's fighting sort of operates the same way he does. He's like a master of illusion.
Or he's maybe magic.
Maybe, yeah. A number of things are going through his head, I guess.
Right now, we just know that he's confused as fuck.
I don't know how he reacts to the monster. He probably tries to swipe at it with his scythe.
Yeah, I can see that. So while he's being distracted, swiping, Mysterio's can see this through the sonar. He shoots a laser blast and hits Scarecrow with the laser blast.
Okay, so after Scarecrow saw that his scythe did nothing to the monster, he couldn't even feel it.
Uh-huh.
And then he gets blasted from behind. He's gonna start realizing what's going on here. That this guy is just like,
he's fucking with them.
Theatricality and deception.
Right.
Right. And he's used to going up against that with Batman.
Okay.
Not to this extent at all, but so what does he do? There's not much more he could do. He just keeps looking through the fog for Mysterio. It seems like Mysterio really has the upper hand.
I think the blast should knock away... I think Mysterio's goal will be to separate Scarecrow from his scythe. So the blast's purpose will be to knock Scarecrow back and drop his scythe.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I assume that Mysterio will figure that he'll have the upper hand here, because it looks like he's just some lanky stupid Scarecrow guy. So he'll probably get in up close at this point.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, he doesn't want to get very close because he'll get stabbed with the syringes. But he doesn't know that Scarecrow has a gas mask on. I'm wondering if he'll use this opportunity to get in close.
Isn't he afraid of Scarecrow?
Why would he be afraid of Scarecrow?
Because he feels fear.
He's not gonna be afraid of a dude whose ass he's kicking.
No, but he like sees Scarecrow, and Scarecrow's a freaky looking dude normally.
Who cares? So is Mysterio. He's a freaky looking dude. He hangs around Venom, you know? It's not that big a deal.
Alright.
He's gonna be like, oh, Scarecrow. Yeah, at this point he'll probably like shoot the gas out of his wrist, his hallucinogenic gas, to make him go insane. Mm-hmm. Probably to get him to visualize him. What else are scarecrows afraid of? I used fire. I used a giant demon crow. What about?
He just has like an assortment of like specific phobia gases on him.
It's kind of how he works. I don't know. It's kind of how he works. He can make people hallucinate whatever he wants them to. Basically, it's not really. They don't delve deep into how he's able to do what he's able to do, other than he's just a smart genius who is a strategic planner.
Okay. So what does he do next?
So he's going to try to use the hallucinogenic gas. I don't know what the hallucinogen he's trying to instill would be, but it's not going to work regardless.
Yeah. Well, like, and by this time, Scarecrow can say, your gas will have no effect on me. I know that these are all illusions.
And I know that my gas doesn't work on you.
After the fire, after the monster, after this next thing, whatever he does that you were creative enough to come up with on the fly, he says, you know, I know that these are all illusions, that you're
a fraud.
I don't know. That you're just an illusionist.
Parlor trickster.
Sure.
Which is what Mysterio is, really.
Yeah. So this is gonna piss Mysterio off. It's gonna make Mysterio be like, "Oh, I'll show you some fakeness." So he comes up to attack him. Do you think?
Well, I think he'll get semi-close. I don't know how close he'll get because his gas can travel a distance. He doesn't need to be that close. But maybe this is the point where Scarecrow busts out his kung fu. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you said he knocked out the scythe. That doesn't mean he doesn't pick the scythe back up.
Well, that's the whole reason why I think at this point Mysterio's in between the scythe and Scarecrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was his plan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. He just teleported there?
No, he walked up.
Okay.
Yeah. He could teleport there. Actually, that would be cooler. That would be more his style.
Okay.
He'd be like blast, and then all of a sudden he's like, he's right there.
Does he pick up the scythe?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then he's a dumbass. Okay.
He might use it later. Like if Scarecrow starts busting out his kung fu, you know, then he's gonna be like, I'm gonna pick up this scythe. So then, sure, good suggestion. He picked up the scythe.
Why not?
What the hell is Scarecrow gonna do now?
Scarecrow needs to break that. Okay, so he starts swinging at Scarecrow, but because Scarecrow has his martial arts, he takes back the scythe and he breaks open Mysterio's fishbowl helmet.
That's the only way you could possibly win at this, I think, is if you break that glass helmet open.
Or if, as long as Mysterio gets close enough, he could just push his syringes like into his chest, and then he's done.
I wouldn't say he's done, but let's say that did happen, and Scarecrow was either able to break open his helmet or he was able to stab him with his syringes. What is Mysterio most afraid of?
Probably dying alone.
People laughing at him, you know, people seeing him as a fraud, as a no talent person.
Sure. Yeah.
Like maybe none of his tricks are working, kind of like all of his shit is breaking, and Scarecrow's laughing at him. Like a bunch of Scarecrows are just standing around laughing at him, calling him an idiot. I can see that, but will that hurt him. It's not going to hurt
Well,
him.
it will once he's distracted and he's hallucinating, and Scarecrow just decapitates him.
And then the head rolls away, and then it starts laughing because it was never the real Mysterio to begin with.
Jeez.
the ball that he Scarecrow cut into, it starts glowing real bright and it floats away from the body, and then all of a sudden it explodes, and then the real Mysterio's there, and then he laser blasts Scarecrow to death.
Oh, jeez. Nice twist.
I don't know. It was. I don't know how much further we could go with this. It's an interesting matchup, but that was a fun one. I like that. I like that match.
Yeah.
Let's see who really wins when we run all of the stats through our probabilistic model, and we'll run them through the machine and get back to you guys with the real winner.
Cool. I don't like that.
It's scary.
I'm scared.
I imagine that, like, if you were able to witness this fight, it would be pretty fear-inducing. It'd be pretty scary because both of them can kind of. It's just an acid trip of a fight. I would think.
Totally.
So we ran all of the stats. We compiled all the stats. We plugged them into the spreadsheet. We ran the Risk Solver add-on, and it runs the numbers along a standard deviation and craps them out into a nice little number that we could give you. It was an interesting fight. I kind of feel bad because Mysterio is so easy to cheat with. Basically, you could just say anything.
I totally thought I had the win in that our speculation. They're like, oh, but twist ending, it was a machine robot thing all along. It's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, even though I said I wouldn't do that. But like with Mysterio, you can almost do anything. That's why I think he's so underrated, because his only limits are like his imagination, you know?
Yeah.
I guess, but the only reason he loses is because the bad guy has to lose. And while he can't do anything, he can give off the illusion that he can, kind of, you know? So I like him as a character. He's fun to do these kind of speculations with.
Yeah, cool. Stop jerking him off and just get on
Jesus
with this.
Christ.
Holy crap.
I'm surprised he didn't go with the Scare Beast guy.
I thought he was going to come up during the match, but I was just waiting for like the right opportunity to bring him in. I was waiting for you like Mysterio to like electrocute Scarecrow or something like that. But
is that how he comes about, by getting electrocuted?
It's just like extreme duress. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. I was just going to use it like in case you like were really cheating. I'm not a big fan of Scare Beast.
I like Scare Beast. It makes Scarecrow more of a physical threat, I think.
I guess. But I don't know, the purist in me wants Scarecrow to remain, like this kind of like...
More of a psychological threat.
Meekly kind of... Yeah, definitely more of a psychological threat than a physical one.
In terms of putting the sets together, it was difficult to come up with some of them because we've never dealt with... Like, physically speaking, none of these characters are huge physical threats. They're more psychological...
These two characters.
Mental threats, yeah.
Yeah, these... It was we've never done that before. We've never like had to account for like psychological damage essentially, Yeah.
So what we did is we had to kind of like figure out, okay, who are the most powerful minds in both Marvel and DC universe, and kind of like create a scale of powerful minds and see how we think these attacks would affect them, basically.
Right.
It was kind of complicated, but we came out with a winner. Are you interested in hearing who that is?
No, I'm nervous. Because I know that Scarecrow. He's not like he's not the strongest character. He's not he's
the fastest.
Right. Yeah. It's. I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous.
Well, you should be. You should be very scared because Mysterio won.
Fuck.
770 of the battles. It was not even close.
So how many?
770.
Oh, crap.
This is one of the most lopsided battles that we've had.
Oh, jeez.
It's in the top 3, I think, at least.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Scarecrow only won 230 out of 1,000 matches. So he got pretty trounced. I think. So congrats to Mysterio for winning the Halloween duel.
That's so depressing. I don't want Scarecrow to lose to like such a loser like Mysterio.
Hey, what kind of loser loses to a loser? A bigger loser.
Jeez.
So you were really confident at the beginning of this.
I was really confident. I was like, once he breaks open that that fishbowl, it's done. It's done. That's all he had to do.
Well, the thing with Mysterio is that he's just so hard to hit. Like his evasive stats were just off the charts. Because he has between teleportation and cloaking and things like that, he has so much going for him.
I know, it was like the Scarecrow is pretty like agile too. He's pretty lanky, like a gymnast. But it seemed like anytime like I had like what I thought was going to be an edge, it's like Mysterio is like because of his technology, he's just like better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's just better.
Ugh.
Just better. Yeah.
Shut up.
All right, that does it for this episode, guys. We hope that you have a happy Halloween. And
if you guys are dressing up as any superheroes, like for Marvel or DC, send us a photo of like you going toe-to-toe with someone from the opposite comic book publisher, and we'll put it on our Instagram for others to see.
Yeah, or our Facebook or any of those. Yeah, that'll be fun. Our next episode will be a review of Thor Ragnarok. It is so close. It's coming up. I think next week it opens in the UK. And other overseas territories. So, yeah, we don't get it until November 3rd. That's when I have my tickets to go see it. And we will be reviewing it on November 5th, I want to say.
Yeah, it's some early reviews have come out for it already, and they're pretty good.
They're saying it's fun and funny and everything like that, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I think there's going to be quite a bit of fan backlash, but I think it's still going to make money.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like the fans are gonna like it less than the general audience, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back with our thoughts on that in 2 weeks. We'll talk to you guys then. As far as the hint for the trivia question, it was a fairly easy question. It was in what year did Marvel abandon the Comics Code, and in what year did DC abandon it? And the hint is there was a 10-year difference between the two. So again, if you have the answer, go ahead and do a search for Dynamic Duel Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Let us know. You could also email us at dynamicduelpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
And hope to see you guys in 2 weeks. Hit that subscribe button.
Please.
We asked
do it.
We asked nicely. All right, guys.
Up and away.
True believers.